Hey guys, Break here, and today the first release of the alpha for Battle for Azeroth came out. Now, I don't think anyone's allowed to play it yet, but what we can do is see a lot of the new changes, and especially for professions, I'll be talking about those today. Before we begin, I don't think this bee mount has anything to do with professions. I just think it looks awesome. How cool is that? Is it a bee? Is it a wasp? Who knows, but it's pretty damn cool. Now remember, this is the very earliest bit of sort of data mining. Just on the alpha, there is nothing you can actually play yet as far as I'm aware, and it's all very early, so much of this is going to change. It's almost not worth talking about. I just want to give my thoughts on the basic stuff and hopefully make some suggestions, or we can work out what isn't looking good in terms of a profession and what looks really cool. Like I say, we can't tell much from this. There's going to be so much more stuff, but just for now we'll have a little look. And the first most obvious thing to note is the profession squish. Now this probably wasn't needed, but I guess it's kind of cool. So all professions now just go up to level 100 rather than level 800 or 900 or whatever it would be. And does this make sense? Probably, because 800 is quite high. 900 would have been pretty crazy. Someone just starting off in a profession, they mine a bit of ore and they get to level 2. And they'll just think, oh, there's another 898 more levels to go, which is a bit annoying. But I think it shows the general shift from Blizzard in terms of encouraging you not to stick to the same profession. I don't really like that. I like the fact that a character should be able to have a profession and encouraged to stick with it and become like an absolute master at that one profession or two professions. I kind of like that. But if you think about in Legion, you were able to buy those books, which meant you kept all your ranks, profession ranks, and they wouldn't go away if you unlearned it, learnt a new profession, and then you came back to the other profession. You could learn all your ranks again. The one thing you couldn't learn was your levels again, and you'd have to go up the 800 levels all again, which was annoying. But with this, only going up to level 100, it doesn't say what the others are, but I presume they'll probably all go up to 100. Then that's going to make it a lot easier for you to switch up professions. Not only can you get all your ranks back, we presume ranks are staying. It doesn't say anything otherwise, I presume they will. I think overall they were kind of cool. And this is just going to encourage people, hey, I'll switch up one profession, I can always switch back, I've only got to go up 100 levels, so can't be that hard. Of course, this might just be a numbers squish, and it still takes exactly the same time to level up, and it just becomes super hard to level up when you get to like the 90s. I think that would be a bit annoying if they did that. I presume it's going to be a bit harder than getting to 100 now, obviously, but I don't think it's going to be exactly the same time as getting to 800 now, just with a numbers squish. I think that would be silly. We do not have much about the specific professions. What we have so far, alchemists get new trinkets, as they always do. They get their little alchemist trinket at the start of the expansion. It's kind of okay. Then it usually drops off. Blacksmiths are getting this hammer. Now this just seems to be the hammer, or the auto hammer, that was already in the game. And I presume those are going to stay, because those are for all professions. This is just for blacksmiths, it seems. So you craft it, and it will just be an extra repair that you can use with an hour cooldown. So it'll just be a little hammer in your bag to replace the blacksmithing hammer blacksmiths already have. I think that's kind of cool. I didn't want them to get rid of all the sort of blacksmith hammer and spanners or whatever other professions use. I think it's kind of cool that they still have to do that. To be honest, I thought they'd have removed it by now. Blizzard usually do that. But I'm glad they're still there. And it's quite cool. And look, it's got this pickup ability. When crafting blacksmithing armor or weapons, there's a chance it will be given the indestructible property. So, I mean, it's not that big deal, to be honest, but I guess it's kind of cool. Indestructible means you don't have to pay repair bills, so there you go, blacksmithing. If you got it on your main, you might be spending less gold on repair bills. They got the hoof plates at the moment. Again, it's a placeholder, so it still says the Broken Isles text. But I presume this will just be what they already have, but it will be working for the new zones. Tailors can create a hot air balloon pet. I mean, we already have some kind of balloon pets, so a bit of a weird one, but whatever. Probably sell for half decent amount at the start. Leatherworkers can create scuba helm and scuba suit. Again, that's kind of cool. Is that going to be related to a potential patch? in the new expansion where we go underwater and fight Queen Azshara, quite potentially. I mean, it is the Queen Azshara we are fighting this next expansion, but there aren't any water zones, so I thought maybe they'd add one in a patch. Anyway, that's for another time. So maybe these suits will just let you breathe underwater. I don't know. I don't see the point in introducing them if we weren't going to have any underwater stuff. It's the same with that anchor that we had this expansion. They must be preparing for some water thing. Otherwise, why would they keep introducing these? Anyway, I don't actually know what they do. I've got no idea, but that's what I presume they do. Let you move faster underwater and breathe underwater. That would make sense for those two. Alright, now this is a big one. Now, scribes. They've had so many changes the past couple of expansions, and I think they've been a little hard done by, but they have had some cool things. The Vantus runes, they were cool initially, then they just made them so you only have one Vantus rune per raid, which meant the competition was very high, and there's slightly less gold to be made from them now, but there's still a half decent amount. Obviously the Tome of the Tranquil Mind and Codex of the Tranquil Mind are great for scribes, and I presume they will continue, hopefully. But another great one was relics. Now I know loads of professions could make relics, but scribes, I thought the relics were really good for scribes because they'd never really had a kind of gear. They could never really make gear before, proper gear, current world gear, at least any good stuff. And then suddenly they could, but now with the relics going away, I presume they're going away in the next expansion because we don't have artifacts. I thought scribes might lose out, but they're getting something completely new and awesome. So, contracts. This is a new thing to the game, or it appears to be, and basically it looks to work sort of like a Vantus rune. So you'll just put it on and maybe it will last a week or a day or something like that. And it lets you gain reputation with a certain faction whenever you complete a world quest. Now this is super awesome. As we know, they're probably going to keep on adding the world quest mounts, well, the faction mounts that you only get from doing the world quests, getting to Exalted, and then getting the 10,000 extra rep, and then you have a chance to get the cool bonus mounts. And I think this is just going to be an extra way to encourage you to get those a bit faster. I know I am big into mount collecting, and I'll be using these. And to be honest guys, I think these are going to sell so well. I think these are going to sell better than Vantus runes, better than Tome of the Tranquil Minds. Because think about it, not everyone does raiding. In fact, there's a small proportion of the entire WoW player base who do raiding, at least any half-serious raiding. And there's a very small proportion who run high-level mythic dungeons and all that. But almost everyone runs some form of reputation. Literally everyone runs world quests, and almost everyone loves mounts. And this is going to be a pretty awesome way to sell to that entire player base. Transmog and all that. Reputation, mount collecting is a huge part of the game now, the biggest part of the game, let's be honest. So these could really transform the scribe's profession. Now again, it's going to be pretty easy to get. I mean, there'll be one per faction. I don't know how many factions there's going to be, reputations there's going to be, but say there's sort of 6 or 8 like there have been this expansion. That's a fair few, and you'll be able to keep up, get all the rank 3s up. I don't know how you'll get the ranks, but I think this is going to be a great seller for the scribes. Scribes also get new Dark Moon decks. Again, they are often very OP at the start of the expansion, and in fact, if you were a healer, in fact a couple of classes, but definitely the healers and the resto druids in particular, were still using the Dark Moon card healing trinket in the final raid of the expansion. In fact, while raiding Mythic, I think Method had some people using the Dark Moon deck whilst killing Mythic Argus, so yeah, they have been very OP this expansion. Don't know what they'll be like next expansion, but I'm sure they'll be pretty good still, and it can make you a pretty tasty amount of gold. And finally, the engineers, they always seem to get the coolest things, and that's going to continue. In the new expansion, portable stable for you engineer hunters. I don't know if you can sell this actually, maybe you can sell it, but either way, going to be kind of useful for hunters, not really useful for anyone else obviously. Next up is Mount Sprint. This is really cool. Increases mounted movement speed by 10%, stacks up to 5 times. So you can get your mount up to 50% faster. Again, I have no idea how this is going to work. Is it something you press? Is it just a kind of proc? Or you can just keep on using it? Will it break occasionally? I've got no idea how it works. No one does. But I think that's a kind of cool thing. Next up, the Goblin Hovercraft. Again, what is this? Is it a sort of toy? Is it a mount? It doesn't say. Could be a mount. Could just be a little thing that lets you hover over ground, maybe over water as well. Hovercrafts often go over water. Again, more water stuff. What is happening with water this expansion? Who knows? Because there weren't any water zones, at least none that they revealed, so maybe that'll be something they add. But pretty cool. Portable transmog. Obviously a lot of people do have the yak and a lot of people don't. But for people who don't, that's pretty useful. Especially in raids, guys. I don't know if everyone will be able to use this or just the engineer. But if it's everyone, that's going to be useful when you can't mount up in raids. People ask for transmog mount and transmog things more than they do for repairs, in my raid at least, because that's what people do. They prefer to look good than be able to do more damage. So that's going to be pretty cool, and I do like the look of that. And there we go, guys. That is it. I am pretty excited. I know this is very, very early. There'll be lots more about professions, and I'll be sure to bring that to you as soon as I see it. Hopefully get on the well, probably not on the alpha, but hopefully get on the beta, and we'll be able to do some stuff there as well, which will be very exciting. Hope you guys enjoyed. What do you think is going to be OP in the next expansion in terms of professions? Inscription is looking very, very good. And engineer is pretty cool as well. So what do you guys think? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya.